I used to feel crazy when I would be stressed and burnt out and feeling anxious. And specifically, this moment in my life was the breaking point. This was the dark night of the soul when I finally decided all of my feeling crazy, feeling like, how can I have achieved all of these things yet feel so empty? This isn't right. I should be trying to figure out how to make this work or get over it and just keep getting along. Because who would be complaining? Have you ever been in moments where you've been surrounded by people who are okay with the way that things are going? You feel different. One of the things that I used to say so often is like, I never fit in. I never fit into the groups that I was a part of, the friend groups, I never felt like I truly had found my place. I've always felt different. I've always felt like an anomaly or whatever the case may be. And that some people can partially get me. And this is something that I just put words to just now. I feel like in my friend groups and my relationships in the past, it's been like, okay, they about 80% get me so I can hang out with them. Nobody's ever going to get me 100%. Nobody is ever going to be this aligned with me. So if it's 80, then it's cool. This moment in my life changed everything for me, brought me closer to God, which also brought me into freedom. Was a night or an early morning. I used to get up early in the morning and pray like every morning, 5, 6, a.m. I'd be in my closet, in my physical closet with my clothes around me. I didn't create like a dedicated prayer closet. But at that time, I just started getting messages about like having a prayer room and understanding what that was. So I decided to just get in my closet again, like sitting behind my clothes in prayer. A lot of the times I didn't have the words to say. I didn't believe at that time that I was hearing from God. I just really had nowhere else to turn. This was very early on in my motherhood journey, right after the pandemic, working my career that I really was not aligned with, and I knew I wasn't. And it just felt like things were crumbling. It felt very heavy just to do the very basic day-to-day things. I started to have these physical responses like heart palpitations and just feeling nervous, like something was happening in my body physically, not making it up in my mind, but physically feeling hot and sick, and like something just was taking over. And it would be these pops of time, it would be these trigger moments that would create this spiral over and over and over again. That's when the prayer makeshift closet thing started to become an outlet. And like I said in the beginning, it was really just sitting there. It was, I don't know what else to do. I'm at my wit's end. I have these thoughts, that aren't aligned with who I am. Negative thoughts, hopeless thoughts. And that just wasn't the type of person that I was. And like I said, these physical reactions, driving used to be a trigger for me, very heavy. Like I remember at one point believing that I wouldn't be able to leave the house because I didn't want to have one of these panic attack moments. It was very crippling. That's why I'm so grateful today to be able to just get back in my car again and go places, because I can remember it wasn't that long ago literally saying that this is probably going to be something that I'm going to have to deal with for the rest of my life. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to leave and do the things. I don't know if I'm going to be able to go out and travel on my own again, or like all these like crazy saying it out loud, because it's like, that's really the trick of the enemy. All those thoughts were going through my mind that these panic attacks would have me in a chokehold. And in that prayer closet, in that moment, I'm just like, Lord, a lot of my time, and sometimes I still have to work through it today in prayer. Sometimes it's very crashing out and it can be very desperate. And I had to learn that to come to God with everything is definitely the goal and the objective. But it's also remembering and assuming the power that He's already given me when I come to prayer. That wasn't a part of this, but that is so good. And again, to the one person that I'm speaking to, That is like the shift that changes everything. Recognizing the power that is within you. And I'm speaking about God because that was my pathway to solving my problems, but also building relationship. I could not get with any of the other things that didn't have a true foundation and fruit in the spirit for me. It just never made sense. I never could wrap my mind around believing something that just seemed so like airy fairy. There was no real foundation. There's no book. There's no text. There's no history. There's no cross. Like there's nothing. My mind just couldn't buy into that. So for me, when I fully started leaning into relationship, I learned, wow, through reading a book, because I grew up in church. I grew up going to church for as long as I can remember. So I know God himself. I did not know until getting in relationship and reading the Bible for myself who he was in me. That just changed the game. Like, I could probably do a separate video talking about my journey with that, specifically just in the journey of reading the Bible and getting a relationship, just knowing the power of him is within you. He is now in relationship, or he is an internal temple in your spirit. That changes how you show up to every single thing that you do. So again, in prayer, on this side, I'm learning that I don't have to come in prayer in desperation, like, oh my God, Lord, how am I going to figure this out? Oh, like literally crashing out tears, everything frustrated, throwing stuff, like just crashing out, right? Crashing out, to being like, you know what? Because in those moments, let me tell you the truth. We getting for real. In those moments, the reason that I was so upset, so frustrated, so desperately crying out isn't because I believe that it could change. Oh, that hurt so bad. Because it's like I spent so much time doing that. I didn't believe there could be a change. And I didn't believe I could change it. That's what really this statement should be. I didn't believe I could change the circumstance. I didn't believe a change was possible for me. So I felt like if I beg, if I plead, if I cry, maybe the windows of heaven are going to open up and just carry me through what I'm praying on. Possible. But God loves us so much that he's not a genie. He's not here to just give us our will that we pray and we receive. It's not a slot machine. Prayer is not a slot machine. But what he was doing during those time periods, as painful as it was to continue to hit the same wall over and over again, what he was doing was developing this belief in me that I have now, where he's showing me the dependence that I have on him, but he's also showing me the power that exists within me because of him. Like that's the wholeness of the picture. That's what I think I was missing. As I said, growing up in church, I saw the character of God himself, but the wholeness of relationship I was not introduced to, which is why I can see how so many patterns in religion were created. Why so many people don't get to where they could be, because they missed the power that is within them through God, right? Being very clear, it's the source is him, but he's not your last wing in a prayer to call on. Instead, in doing the relationship, which was this whole time period up until now, this started in 23. Yeah, in 23, I started really leaning into relationship, reading the Bible, like studying all of that. All of this time has been building me up to understand that in these moments, like you do have a level of dominion. Shocker. Like you do. When you see and don't just wait till the last moment where you need a miracle. Like miracles can happen. I remember TD Jakes saying this, like, you know, let your miracles are like when somebody is healed from a disease. You know what I'm saying? When, something miraculous happens, like that, those are your miracles. You getting a new car, like he said, like you can get your credit together, get your money together and get you a new car, right? Like you don't need to be on your knees like you're praying for the cure for some terminal illness when you just need a car. Like, yes, God can bless that, absolutely. But you can also get your credit together and get your money right and go get your car, because he's giving you the power and the ability to do that. In business, he's giving you the power and the ability to do it. He's anointed you, meaning he's giving you the talents, the strengths, the skill set, and the ability to do it. Not to lay back, hope and wish and fantasize and dream about these big things and just say, I'm waiting on the Lord. What are your steps? That's like my biggest piece of learning over this time. Just in learning and viewing the world in a different way. Like, instead of this, let me look at it this way. And I'll tell you, I might do another video with my testimony, but I've had this experience in real life. Matter of fact, once it all goes through, I'll do a testimony on this of just how you come at your prayers. Literally, Matthew 17:20 talks about the faith of the size of the mustard seed can move a mountain. If it's in God's will, nothing is impossible for you. It says nothing is impossible for you when you have faith the size of the mustard seed in God. It doesn't say nothing's impossible for him. We already know that. I mean, that's clear. It says nothing is impossible for you. So when you take hold of that, it's a different place that you end up going in, and you end up seeing how you have gotten in your own way, which is a lot of what I'm talking about in my forthcoming book, The Enemy Is You. It is not up for pre-order or anything like that, but I did want to share that project because these types of topics, these are the things that I'm diving into of how I've been able to break out of my own enemy, how I've been able to get out of my own way. And this part was key. Taking hold of that was key. Going back to that moment in the closet was a moment to decide either you're going to let this have authority and dominion over you, or you're going to take authority and dominion over it. Which one? And I can think of many times in my life where I've been in that crossroad. It's like either you're going to lay down or you're going to stand up. What you going to do? And the moments where I have stood up, even if I got knocked down 10,000 times, even if I was the least qualified, when I stood up, something about that pop back up, that resilience back up, it's always turned into a blessing and to fruit for me. This instance was no different, but it seemed harder, right? I think at every level I faced these circumstances. Like I said, I can remember it back to even when I was a child of going through these similar things and what I did to move through them. And this, okay, that seemed pretty easy. I'm sure at that time I probably felt like it was much harder. But when I look back, I'm like, oh, these were easy things. But they're the same pattern, just at a different level. So the anxiety for me came from you're living this, but in actuality, you should be here. And your mind is wanting you to be there, but your soul, your spirit, your habits, your behaviors are still tethered here. Both can exist. Otherwise, you're going to have internal conflict every single day of your life. Every day that your mind is somewhere, that your spirit and your truth and your real life actions aren't, you're going to have that confliction. And over time, I don't have the science behind this, but I'm just telling you what happens for me, what happened to me. Over time, it became these anxious thoughts. It became this worrying. It became this overwhelm. It became this stress. It became this burnout. It became this depression. I was even in the doctor at one point, and they wanted to put me on like some depression or anxiety medication. Nothing wrong with that. I just knew that wasn't for me. You know what's for you and what's not. You know the one thing, right? Even if we're thinking about not even using mental health as an example, but blood pressure medication. If you go to the doctor, there are some people who, if you even think you about to say, oh, you're going to need to be on medication for this, they like, oh no, I'm going home. I'm getting my diet. Like, cause that just ain't me. And then there are some people who are like, okay, well, if it is what it is, then, I'll take it. Or some people who have gotten so far gone that they don't have that opportunity, so they have to get on it, right? The same can be with mental health medication. So I'm not speaking about that. That's what I'm saying. In your own situation, you already know. I knew I wasn't so far gone that I needed that. I knew what they were trying to do. They were trying to help me to manage through things, and I get that. But I was in a space where I'm like, I'm not too far gone. I can still redeem this, and I'm going to do the things to put in place so I don't have to worry about that. So it was a trigger for me. And I started getting myself together. I started doing therapy, which was great for illuminating things. I like to say that about therapy for me. It was great to just like illuminate things, be able to talk about situations. And I also did not do it for like years or anything like that. I just found it to be more of like conversation, not really practical movement. Practical movement came for me during my prayer time. It came for me during my devotional and Bible study time. It was through conversation with mentors. It was, going to church. It was listening to people of like-minded break down different things and shift my mind on what another possibility was. It was me doing the personal development work, reading the books, watching the YouTubes, doing the exercises to understand what was holding me back and what could I move, how could I look differently? It was me reading books like Forgiving Forward and understanding the layer of forgiveness and some of the hardness that I had, some against others, but also against myself. Pain that I had with myself. That's why I wrote title. That's why I know the book was downloaded. Let me speak correctly, that the book was given to me. The title was given to me, The Enemy Is You, because I have been my own biggest enemy in my life. And I've had to navigate that time and time again in many different scenarios. It doesn't matter if it was friendships. It doesn't matter if it was career, business. At so many turns of my life, I've had to navigate this enemy of myself that's shown up, tried to sabotage and tried to steal, kill, and destroy all the blessings that God had for me. It wasn't other people. I'm not going to give people that power. It wasn't other people. It was always within me. So my battle with anxiety, that was just a symptom of a deeper issue. God used that symptom to wake me up out of a slumber, not even a slumber because I knew what was going on, to wake me up out of being comfortable in a situation that was not for me, being a butterfly that was a caterpillar that was supposed to been flown out. Still trying to fit herself in a cocoon. He used that to shake me up a little bit. Like, oh, come on. Let's go. Let's move. And that put me on a journey to all the things that I said as a high achieving woman, as a woman who pretty much anything she sets her mind to, if I stay committed to, I believe that I can have. Except what I found out is when the thing felt like it was way far beyond, when it felt like it was like a spiritual, like this would be crazy. I feel that now. A lot of things I feel like this would be crazy. And I talked about this in my other video of like understanding there's a version of me that's stretching to that instead of feeling like it's going to be this version of me today, January 10th, in the shoes of what the vision that God has given me. That's not going to happen. But that's what I used to think, and that used to scare me to staying where I am instead of surrendering to the growth that's going to happen. He forced me to grow. And now I'm in this stage of having to surrender to grow, shed what is here now so that I can become what is down the line for me. And getting still, getting clear, doing those things like forgiveness, changing the thumbs up, changing my thought process, challenging my thought processes, leaning into mentorship, leaning into my Bible. Like when I say the foundation of the whole thing is the time in the Bible and in the text, that's the foundation of everything for me. Like when I started to read, I'm like, this is not what I learned in church. Like, this is not even by interpretation, just by black and white words. It was like, this is not it. And with this knowledge, wow, I can make different choices. With this knowledge, wow, I realize I'm given dominion over my assignment. I have an assignment. Like, I thought I was just trying to, move up, do the things that I have the life, the comfort. But wait, I have an assignment to steward. I have the power to do it. So I don't need to lean on these desperate prayers every time I get into a challenging situation. Instead, 30 days ago, I could have been exercising my power to not even be in this position. And my relationship with God is not boiled down to, what I need a miracle. And that's the majority of the relationship that we have. One of the things that I even said last year was like, Lord, I don't want to fast for things anymore. I don't want to have to keep coming back to, let me fast because I'm seeking answers on this, or, this is going on and that is going on. And I'm looking for a move of God in this. Powerful, yes. But I was like, I would love to be able to have the luxury to give myself the luxury, to give myself the opportunity to just fast, to just get closer with God, to just see what he's saying, to get a new revelation, to be like, I'm just calling. I don't want anything. I'm just calling. Like, what? I don't want anything. I'm just calling. Nah, I'm good. Like, you've taken very good care of me. You continue to take very good care of me. I'm just calling to kick it. What's going on? What you need? What you want to see me do? Like, what's up with you? Tell me, give me some insight and foresight. What's going on? Where can I be boots on the ground? I got time. You've been very good to me. I've got time. Like, that gives me chills. That's the type of relationship that I want to have. Still with all the other stuff, life happens. But I'd love for majority of my relationship with God to just be like that. Like, you've been good to me. And not on no surface level, that's another church thing. I don't need much and not that. I mean, like, really abundance. Like, yeah, I just want to kick it. So that is my story around defeating the enemy within. It's showing up as anxiety. This wasn't necessarily a how-to, more of a fireside chat with you, just to give you some of my insights on what needed to be done. There's so many tactics and strategies out there. But what I wish I would have known, or what I wish I would have heard, is a story of someone who had experiences like me, and just knowing that there is another side. There is a way out. And it's not outside of you. It's all within you, because it's power you've already been given. You just need to get connected to the source of truth. And then you'll find out, you'll be looking at things that seem laborious, that seem hard. And all of a sudden it'll look different. It's like putting on a new pair of glasses. It's like cleaning off the bathroom mirror. I don't know if anybody else is like this, but over time, you can just be, unless you're one of those people, you clean the mirror every week. I done got off from that a little bit, okay? So anyway, you look in the mirror every single day, right? And over time, you don't notice all the spots that are on it. From toothpaste, you flossing, whatever the case may be, spraying hairspray products, we do our whole thing in there, right? So the mirror doesn't, like, you can still see, but when you clean that mirror, all of a sudden it looks like you done got a brand new mirror. You're like, wow, I had no idea how many spots were on this thing. But I look at it every single day, and over time, more spots are being added to the mirror, but they're so small. And because our minds, there's probably some science around this, our visual, our minds, we probably don't pick up every single little detail or change, like a spot on a mirror popping up every single day, right? And so we may see a few and we're like, it's good. And then all of a sudden, that's just what we continue to see and see and see. And we've gotten used to being able to look at ourselves and do what we need to do with that spotty mirror. But that fresh mirror, I'm telling you, it makes you think you just bought a brand new one, clearing up our vision. That is what doing that work, facing that enemy through the word of God, through the Spirit of God for me, and then taking the applicable actions, because I can now see clearly. I can now think clearly. I can now think from a place of empowerment instead of defeat. Because when you're in a space of defeat, all the things that you do are reactionary and they're in lack. And they don't work. Let's just go ahead and say that. But when you come from a place of empowerment and abundance, you could be doing the same action and get a different result, because the way in which you're coming about it is totally different. If that was one thing that I could leave someone with, that would be the thing. And that it is not happenstance. It is not being special. I am certainly not. I'm not special in the sense of like different, or special in the sense of only I could achieve this, or I had the resources to achieve this. I didn't. I have the same things that are available to anybody else. I'm not the most popular person. I don't have, you know what I'm saying? Like I said this so many times, like I'm not the person with 1,000 friends and 1,000 connections and just, no, I'm building that. I'm building the right aligned connections. But for a long time, I was like a lone wolf type of person. No new friends. Just me, myself, and I type of thing. So I say all that to say, I had to build it up from scratch. Everything that I have has been by the grace of God and by doing the work, not by handouts, not by gifts. Nobody ever got me a job. Nobody ever, got me an opportunity. It was the grace of God and it was the work. So I feel like that could be a precursor into another video to talk about, experiences and how I was able to navigate certain things, navigate going from college to choosing my career and going into entrepreneurship, all in the name of what I felt like I was called to do, even though it was difficult. All right, I'm going on. Have an amazing, this is Saturday for me. And I will see y'all in the next one. All my stuff is going to be in the description.